Right now on Inside Texoma, we are talking to the Wichita Theater and taking an inside look at some recent renovations that have been taking place.
Oh yes, we've replaced all the seats and a lot of other surprises in the theater that patrons are going to look very forward to coming this year.
We also want to let everyone know about the opportunities for children and adults to perform on our stage, as well as how to get involved.
It's definitely a show you don't want to miss. An inside look at the Wichita Theater renovations, even upcoming projects. It all starts right now on Inside Texoma. Good morning, Texoma, and thanks for joining us for another look inside Texoma. I'm Ashley Fitzwater. This morning we are talking to people from the Wichita Theater, taking a look at recent renovations and how it's truly shaping the place that has been a part of our community since 1908. It's an inside look at not only those renovations, but also how the theater is impacting the lives of children and even some upcoming projects. And joining me with more right now is Dwayne Jackson. He is the president of the Wichita Theater Performing Arts Center, and Laura Williams. She is the marketing associate. Also, though, I understand, a director, even an actress. So a woman of many hats here joining us, and same thing for Mr. Jackson. So I appreciate both of you taking time to kind of give us an inside look now. There are a lot of renovations that recently took place to the Wichita Theater, and I know so much hard work went behind that. But if you can just kind of start, maybe people are new to the area or they've not had a chance to come check out a production at the Wichita Theater. Can you just tell us a little bit about it, and maybe the history and the mission there?
Absolutely. The Wichita Theater was built in 1908, so it's been around. We're in our 104th season.
Wow.
And obviously the purpose was family entertainment when it first started. In the late 30s, it had shut down in the mid-20s, reopened in the late 30s as a movie theater, and stayed that way until 1980 when it was purchased by local investors, and then we reopened it in 1995 as a family, and then we started a nonprofit in 2005 that took it over from there. And it's an incredible 900 and plus seat auditorium that the community has really begun to take hold of. We do live performances. We do some things with kids that we'll talk about later, and so it's a neat thing for downtown Wichita Falls.
It really is, and not even just so much like the plays or the performances. There's also, I know, special guests have come into town, and there's been things there, and I think pageants have even been held there. So there's been a lot of different. I mean, it's been the host to a lot of things. Correct?
It has. We've hosted Miss America. We have a picture. My wife doesn't like for me to break it out, but of me with Miss America under the marquee. We've had Randy Travis. We've had Ricky Skaggs. We've had a Branson-style country music show, which started our tenure with the theater in 1995, and it is truly a community theater.
It's neat to see all the things it draws in and offers to the community. So why was it important for you and your family to take over this and to take on, this project?
It was a challenge to take on, that's for sure. It all started for us with a vision that I had from Branson, Missouri. We were up on a family vacation that felt like that we needed something like what the Wichita Theater is in Wichita Falls. And we started looking around and at warehouses and things to do it, and then not even thinking about the fact that right around the corner from where we had a business was the Wichita Theater. And it was sad. I grew up in the theater myself, went there on Saturday afternoons like most everybody else's story that's of our age did, and to see the auditorium renovating. And it's been a work in progress. It's gone from waterfalls in the theater, unnatural, to a fabulous performing arts center that I believe will rival any that you could see in any major city.
Well, I know it's definitely impressive. You know, we had you on not that long ago on Inside Texoma, you know, kind of toward the end of the year last year.
Right.
So today we're really wanting to highlight all of that hard work they were about to undertake. I know it started December the 18th, was a big day. So tell me what that day brought about.
I'll let you start that one, Laura. I need to take a deep breath over the thought of that day.
Particularly because Dwayne had just directed White Christmas the musical, and it closed on the 17th.
Goodness.
And then the very next day, they started ripping out those old seats up in the balcony. The seats were from 1939. On the floor, the seats were from 1970.
Wow.
And we had so many volunteers, which there's no way this would be possible without them. We would not be where we are now without the volunteers who helped with taking out the chairs, sweeping, mopping, scraping gum off of chairs and all sorts of things like that, painting, even just taping the walls where we were going to paint. I mean, they sound like such small things, but all that had to be done.
Yeah.
And we're so thankful we had that much help.
And it's a big theater. I mean,
It's
if you
a
haven't
huge
seen
theater.
it, I mean, that's a lot of work. So
huge
you
theater.
I mean, you definitely would need help. Just think of doing a room in your house or something seems overwhelming. So a big theater, I just, you know, volunteers make it happen, I
It
guess.
takes a big village to raise a child and renovate a theater.
And renovate a theater.
And renovate a theater.
Well, we have much more on the village that definitely helped make that happen, and even how the community got in on some of the historic goods. So we're going to talk about all of that coming up after the break. Stay with us for more Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, I'm talking with Mr. Dwayne Jackson and Laura Williams, both here today, talking about the Wichita Theater and all the hard work to bring it to what it is today, which is so neat. So many renovations took place, and you know, we were talking a little bit about the chairs. You'd ripped up all the chairs. Well, after you ripped them up, you had to do something with them, right? So what happened after that?
Well, first of all, we just moved them from one side to the other as you try to move furniture in your house. It's just, where do I put this thing? We made the offer to the community to if they would like to purchase one of the chairs for their living room, for their bathroom, whatever they wanted to do with it. And we actually sold, out of the approximately 700 chairs that we took out, we sold about 150. So there's 150 of those chairs sitting somewhere in North Texas, in bedrooms or in garages, because they hadn't done anything with them yet. And then the rest of them were bought by an antique dealer here locally who was going to refurb the rest of them and then distribute them out across the country. So
wow.
Kind of neat to know. It's kind of like when you give a transplant, you know, that just keeps living somewhere. And for those that have been in the theater for all these years, to know that those seats haven't just gone away. They've just been relocated.
That is really neat. Yeah, they weren't just tossed to the wayside or thrown away. So they're, you know, becoming alive, like you said, in other people's homes and maybe even other theaters or something, if you're saying they're being refurbished. So now I understand that the money that was raised through that helped with this project, correct? Because that's a lot of work. So how's it all funded, you know?
Well, we didn't get all the money from, we had to take care of some of it through cash flow. But we did raise, we had a seat adoption campaign basically over the last 6 months that we raised approximately $50,000 from the community and individuals and patrons. And were able to adopt seats on behalf of someone. And so there's about 200 seats of the new 650 seats that are going to have someone's name associated with those seats.
That's awesome.
And that's neat for the long term for historic purposes. So the rest were funded through just general operations, and so we're excited that they're in.
Absolutely.
And so are our patrons.
Yeah.
Our patrons, yeah, the patrons have been very excited.
Yes.
Through Music Man, which was our first show, they've been real complimentary of the comfort sitting through a 2 to 2.5 hour evening brings to them. So.
And speaking of that, it wasn't just the seats. I mean, there was a lot of work done. Even the stage, I understand, was completely redone. And this really had an impact on you because you were the director of the first production that took to the stage, the brand new stage that was ripped up. And how did you handle all of that?
Well, thankfully, the cast saw me handling it very well. Dwayne might not have.
Yeah.
But it was a challenge, and thankfully, we cast the right people that they were able to take it in stride, and they just kept going. We did have to rehearse for a while upstairs in our Performing Arts Center on the 2nd floor, which once you get more than 50 people up there trying to stay on a small space, it gets a little cramped, but I didn't hear any complaining. People were just excited to be there. They were excited to be in the show, and that's all they were concentrating on, and I tell you what, that really lifted me up as well.
Yeah.
And when we finally hit the stage, we were all very thankful.
More room, huh? And a new stage to show off.
Yes.
So
yes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How is the new stage? You know, being able to have this new platform basically to perform on. How are you noticing a difference? You know, tell us about that.
The main difference is the person who did most of the planning for this is Larry Peterson. He and Dwayne both planned out how everything was going to be laid out and everything, and he's very diligent and very adamant that he wanted this to be level. For the longest time, we did not have a level stage, and so when it comes to building a set on a stage that isn't level, it's very hard, especially when you have pieces that roll across the stage. Some things kind of got high-centered on a hump, or they would dip down into a dip, and so that's been a huge difference for us, is having a level stage. It's good, solid. There was a show that we did at the beginning of 2010 called Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Dwayne knows what I'm about to talk about. We had all of the sons of Jacob. Those are the 12 tribes of Judah. They were all on the stage together, and they were all very well-built men. I wouldn't say like big, husky, corn-fed, but they're not puny. They all, nice. Amazingly, they couldn't have done it if they had planned it, jumped at the same time and landed at the same time. And I was not there for the performance. I have been told you could see the stage here go underneath them. And we were about to have a stage full of children on top of that stage. And Larry Peterson, the one who built the stage, I guess this is what inspired him. He had to lay under the stage and hold the supports together underneath the children.
No.
So I guess that's why he decided, I guess he didn't want to do that anymore.
No,
right? So he decided to make it all level.
He decided that was too much work.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So,
I don't blame him.
yeah.
I would definitely take on that project too then.
Yes.
It was not rated for 12 men that all weighed over 250 pounds at the same time, jumping in midair.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's good to know that now you don't have to limit your options on who's on stage or does certain things in any upcoming production.
No weight limit restrictions.
Oh goodness. Well, I love that. I love how you tied in the personal aspect of this as well to make us
it is
truly
community
appreciate.
theater.
Yes.
It's community theater.
Now you can appreciate that new stage whenever you're watching something on it as well.
Yes.
So. And I know there's already new things underway. You know, we're talking about all of these renovations, but there's also a new effort underway as well, correct?
That's right. We are excited. We're always, nonprofit organizations are always in fundraising. You know, you'd like to rest, but there's no time for that.
Sure.
And we're excited about the new campaign, that we're always in a perpetual campaign motion. And so we're now starting one that's called a Memorial Pathway Walk of Fame, where we're going to put granite and brick out front. We're going to completely redo the front of the entry to the theater, which has a practical purpose as well, because we're going to redo the entry for handicap accessibility from the street. The whole facility is handicap accessible, but we're going to redo it from the street so that wheelchairs and so forth can come in straight from the street. So that'll help fund some projects for the rest of the year, and so more details will be rolling out over the next coming weeks.
And that sounds great. Now, let me say this. You did the other project in like 6 weeks. So is this one going to take a little longer? Or are you going to be able to do this one?
Well, this is one that once it gets underway, the actual work, it better be done quickly, because we might as well shut the doors, because once it starts, you got to get the doors open.
Sure.
And people have to come in. So once we start, and it would probably be the first phase will be done probably by the end of April. And then from there forward, we'll do it in segments that hopefully by the end of the fall will be completely redone out front.
That's awesome. I know this is going to be exciting to see you know, all of this come about. Now, how can people get involved in this fundraising effort? You know, maybe they missed the chair part, maybe they missed, you know, or they wanted to, but they couldn't at this time, but they're interested in helping out now, they're interested in donating. How can they do that?
They can call the theater and just say, hey, can you send me a form? I'd like to be a part of the brick campaign, and they can choose whether they want a brick, which is less expensive than a granite star, which they can do anything in honor of or in memory of. They can put their company logo on it if they want to put when their company was founded, or when their family moved to Texas, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll have all the information on our website very soon, so they'll be able to do that online as well.
That's pretty cool. And, you know, now it's a piece of history of your family or your company as well.
That's exactly right.
You know, right there into the theater.
That's the idea.
All while helping the nonprofit and continuing this. So
that's right.
Just plays hand in hand. Well, we have so much more to get to, including, you know, you'd mentioned at the start of the show, the Children's Theater, of course, and we definitely want to talk about that and some upcoming shows. So stay with us. More Inside Texoma after the break.